Good morning. John Hughes here, John Hughes Morning Focus, and thanks for joining me as we explore how we can improve our mindset and our mental health, which happens to be the biggest resolution that people were wanting to fix this year. So first of all, if you have difficulty or you feel like hurting yourself or other people, please talk to a doctor and see if there may be some issues that you can get medical help with. I am not a doctor. I'm here to give you some suggestions of ways that you can deal with things like stress and a variety of other things, and that's what we'll talk about today. But before we get into that, I'd like to ask you to please subscribe, like, share the video, send in your thoughts, your comments, very hugely important. So today, what we want to talk about is stress. What is it? What isn't it? And how does it affect us? And then just ways of dealing with it. So let's talk about first, what is stress? And stress is a natural reaction that the way we're developed as biological animals, when we perceive a threat to ourselves, to our safety, to our surroundings, our home, or a loved one, as an animal, and this will happen, you could still see it. You walk up to a strange cat while you're out walking, and if it doesn't know you, it may think you're a threat, and it will flee. And so stress is the preparation of our body to either flee or to fight. Okay, so that's how we're wound up. And when we get that way, typically we're gonna have a faster heart rate, we're gonna be breathing really shallow, and the chemicals in our body like adrenaline and cortisol and all those start pumping out, and they get us ready to either run away from that danger so we could get somewhere safe, or to stand and fight and survive. Or it could be to run real quickly and grab our kid before they go off the cliff, or to try to put out a fire because that's our home. Okay, so this is how we're designed as animals, and we've been here for however long, many tens of thousands of years, but our physical human animal body has not changed. Yet, how often are we being threatened by, think about this, throughout history, it was truly an issue just to survive, because warring tribes or gangs might come to kill all the men, to take our women, to take away us, to enslave us or conscript us into their service, or they might come to steal all of our food, or to steal the women, or just, it was terrible. And then natural surroundings. Throughout life, if you would get hurt, a lot of times there was clearly there was no medicine or whatever, and a simple gash that became infected could be the end of life. And predators, right? So there's predators and wars and natural events and just life. The planet is a scary thing with earthquakes and tornadoes and hurricanes and volcanoes and landslides, and then you've got competition to deal with. So all of those things were what we were prepared to either hide and flee and run away. And so typically too, these are very short run issues. If you don't get away or you don't fight off the bad guy, you'd get eaten or you die or whatever. So it didn't last that long. But the issue is we typically don't have those kind of issues now, other than if someone comes up and sticks a gun in your face. Okay, that is immediate. Or if a dog is running after you, or a car accident, or right in the moment of something. That is the kind of stress that we are designed to handle, fight or flight. But in today's society, we've got jobs and we've got houses and we've got doctors, and so what we have, as opposed to what I just referred to, which is acute stress, in the moment, done, and you get away, because after you run away and you're in safety, now you begin to breathe and you calm down and it's over. But that's not how life is now. Now we have chronic stress, and that's where the real problem lies. That's the one that causes high blood pressure and heart difficulty and keeps chemicals running in our body that help us get fat. It also messes with our mind, and we will eat things that we have so readily available, which also lends itself to obesity. So chronic stress is the real problem. Where does that come from? Think about it. If we're driving in terrible traffic all day, or we're constantly feeding ourselves or listening to or exposed to news about all the negativity and so many things out of our control, or we deal with perhaps coworkers that we just don't like, or we're in situations where the discomfort is long running. It's not something that's going to get you and you could get away from it, or you could fight and be over and done with, but rather it's a slow boil and it just keeps going and going and going. That's chronic stress, and that's really where we have the problem, and that's really where the solution lies too. How can we avoid those things that are causing us that slow boil, long run? For example, let's talk about relationships. Probably I would say the greatest joys in life and the greatest difficulties seem to come from relationships. Okay, and just the matter of surviving. In today's day and age, we got to make money. So let's talk about relationships first. If you've got a difficult relationship, if it's something that you can work through, get counseling, and let's say it's a spouse or a partner or whatever, pursue that, because that's something to hold on to. Now, if it can't be fixed and it's truly toxic, you gotta get away from it. You can't stay in something, doing it for the kids. Bullshit. Get away, and you'll be better off for both, because that pervasive chronic, interaction would spill over and affect the other people that you're in with. So I would try to fix it first, clearly, if it's a relationship, and especially where other people are affected. But bottom line is, fix it. How can we do that? Well, we can't control the other person, so let's look at what part of it do we play. How can we make ourselves better? How can we be the better spouse or partner or parent or co-worker or whatever it might be? So that's one way. If we can fix those problems, we will reduce or eliminate that stress. Big difference. And we'll just be able to contribute and be better. Okay, how about a job? The statistics say that something like 85% of the people hate their jobs. That's a shame. It's also a statistic that the greatest amount of heart attacks happen on Monday morning. And that's as people are going off to that job that they hate. All right, let me ask you something. Have you ever had one of those Sunday afternoon blues things, right? Where you're looking like, oh, tomorrow I got to go back to work. I've been having so much fun, or just I've been in another mental place. All right, how do we deal with that? Well, again, what can we do to change ourselves, fix ourselves, change our perspective, and be grateful? Gratitude is huge. Definitely, a lot of things in life have to do with perspective. So if we can be grateful for things that are good for us, because not everybody can have a job that they love. I think, though, that you can grow to love the job that you have. How does it serve other people? If you weren't there, how would the world not be as good as it is because you're there? So gratitude and putting it into proper perspective can help. Maybe talk to a counselor, talk to positive people, surround yourself with that. And if you do have the opportunity to get into something that you love that can pay the bills and be enriching, but again, it's got to be for service to other people. The more selfish we are, the more dissatisfied in life we're going to be, and that's going to just create stress. But if you have the opportunity to get away from any situation that's a slow boil, ugly situation, then do it. Now, let's talk about traffic. If we put ourselves in a position to be stuck in traffic and always arriving places late, I'm going to suggest just get yourself organized earlier, reduce the stress of just simply giving yourself more time to get to wherever you have to be. Don't commit and have things back to back so tight. That could make a big difference. Also, what are you listening to, if anything, while you're driving? And in the moment, be in the moment. Be in the car. Enjoy the scenery. Wave at people, smile at people. They'll think you're crazy. But don't be thinking about work. Don't be thinking about the problems back behind you. Just be in the moment. So I'm going to suggest listening to audiobooks, learning, taking that time if you are in traffic. I used to spend 2 hours every day. And so I had the opportunity to listen to a lot of positive books. You can learn languages, and you can get like a whole semester's worth of time and information flow by making your car a university on wheels. Thank you to Zig Ziglar. So those are some of the things. Now, there are still issues where we may have stress that is acute, all right? So I'm going to suggest, rather than finding yourself in a place where surprises happen, if you live in a hurricane or an earthquake or a tornado type place, be prepared for it. Have food and water and money if there's no electricity, and a source of electricity. Have those things available. If you don't have to worry about surprises like that, it can make a huge difference in, like, no problem, we got this. We go, we get our supplies, and we've got candles or what have you. Another thing is security. I'm going to suggest that it is still a dangerous world out there, and perhaps becoming ever more so. So, can you defend yourself? Do you know some basic self-defense? Do you have weapons and know how to use them? Reduce the fear of, oh my goodness, there's someone who might hurt me. Take yourself away from a place where you might find that. My great-great-grandfather told my grandfather, and I think this is brilliant, people who carry guns are more likely to get shot. Why? Because they go to places they probably shouldn't be. So I'm going to suggest the first order of importance would be try to not be in places where you could put yourself in danger. If you know there's wild dogs in your area, don't go there because you might get bit, right? On the other hand, it is wise to be able to take care of yourself, that, kick a bad guy in the nuts if that's what you got to do. As a female, don't go shopping alone is a good idea. There's lots of things out there that could put you in danger there. Pay attention to your surroundings. Surprises are often a huge source of stress. Well, if we are aware and we are in the moment and we're not thinking about stuff from earlier today or holding resentments towards people, or we're not thinking about, oh, what do I have to do for dinner and things like that, all right? But be in the moment, be prepared, pay attention to your surroundings, and that way you won't trip while you're walking, which would actually cause stress, and if you break a leg or something, that could be a lot worse. So that's the bottom line here, is preparing for what may happen and removing ourselves from situations that give us that slow burn type of stress. Exercise, hugely important. It helps to fix the chemicals in our body. It helps to put us in better shape. Getting a good night's sleep and eating and having a good sense of community, people you can genuinely talk to. You could both be there to support them in their difficult moments and reach out to them when moments are difficult for you. Getting involved in some sort of faith-based community can be great. And so there we've been talking a lot of physical issues. We've been talking about some relational and emotional type issues. And you've got chemical. Eating well, hugely important. Just mindlessly grabbing all kinds of crap is not going to help your body to withstand whatever's out there. So I'm going to definitely suggest looking into good food and good eating. And I've got a whole bunch of recipes on this particular channel, so try those out if you don't know how to cook. And so I hope those are some helpful ideas. This is already a long video, and send in your thoughts, your comments, like, subscribe, share. This year, we're really going to focus on a lot of mindset, mental health ideas, so that we can just become better and enjoy life more, contribute more, and there you go. That's my thoughts on stress, what it is, what it isn't, and how to deal with it. Have an awesome day, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.